It's Bruins Benders post-game live, and it's brought to you on the Inside the Rink YouTube channel. Subscribe tonight, to the Inside the Rink YouTube channel to get our content all season long. It's Maddie, and it's Smitty returning just in time for a Bruins 8-1 loss to the Winnipeg Jets tonight. Another loss to a playoff team. Tonight, the Bruins had a couple of moments where they, played fairly well, but a third period that was an absolute disaster. 5-0 Winnipeg in the third period. Turnovers, bad play, just undisciplined play. The same old song and dance against playoff teams, really.
Yeah, I thought they sucked. I thought for 10 minutes in the first period, they were fine. They were good. They carried the play even for a little bit. And then Brandon Carlo, who's been awful now, going on 4 games, takes a double minor, undisciplined. Trent Frederick, 25 seconds in, undisciplined. Well, and there you go. They score on the Carlo penalty. That takes all the momentum the Bruins had away. And from then on, they were absolute fucking dog shit. Sorry, John. Mm-hmm. There you go.
Yeah, they were bad. They were bad again.
Broke it all down in we'll go 3 words: undisciplined dog shit. Mm-hmm. There you go.
Let's talk about how bad the Bruins have been. Shockingly bad against playoff teams. This year. Okay, against playoff teams. The Bruins are 4-9.
4-9.
Okay, outscored 58-30.
58-30. So the Bruins are averaging about 2.3 goals a game against playoff teams, and they're giving up 4.46. So they're getting outscored by playoff teams on average by 2 goals a game. Most lines, if you want to go with the old DraftKings lines, are 1.5. So if the Bruins play a playoff team, ladies and gentlemen, throw the money on the other team, and you would win most of the time.
Yeah.
So there's a little betting tip from Smitty for you fine folks. As
especially
if we got to sit through this horse shit, you might as well make some money off of it, huh?
Especially if Swayman is in net, which he's been in net for 11 of those 13 games.
Yeah,
Korpisalo is 1-1. Swayman is 3-8 against playoff teams. Tonight, 8 goals allowed, the most in his career.
Correct.
And how about this? Why, this is now Montgomery and Sacco both keeping him in for all those goals. And it's almost, I don't know what that means. Usually you yank a guy like, look,
you usually do.
Night. Usually you do. And they don't do it with him. I almost wonder if it's like, yeah, you wanted the net. You wanted the big money. You take the net.
Sure. He deserves every ounce of criticism. Every single ounce. From his teammates, from the coaching staff, from the fans, from the media, from everybody. I hope his mother and father are giving him a hard time. Everybody should be giving him a hard time. He's playing like ass.
Yeah.
And the 4th goal, the 5th goal, you have to have saves there. You have to have saves by an NHL goaltender on those fucking shots. Yeah. You have to. I don't care who you are. I don't care
the 7th goal,
Swayman or Brandon Bussey or Georgiev, or doesn't matter.
All the guys with duplicate first and last names.
Ivan. It doesn't matter.
Ivan. Yeah. Ruben, Boomche, all of them. Like, here's the thing. Here's the thing. The 7th goal was, how the hell does that get in?
Awful.
Like, that was just awful. That was awful.
Isn't he supposed to be bulldog? Isn't he supposed to be tough and he fights and he battles? Well, it doesn't seem like he's battling. It seems like he's giving up. Like battling. The rest of the team is. Charlie McAvoy, when this team goes bad, He is the most undisciplined clown player I have ever seen. He just totally loses his mind, just does whatever. He's pitchforks the guy to the ice with his stick between his legs, and then he's looking around like, what did I do? You pitchforked him to the fucking ground. That's what you did.
Right.
Go have a fucking seat, Charlie, and shut the fuck up.
Right. Right. Here's the thing. Why can a coach say that? Like, can a coach just say, you know what? Can you knock it off? Like, this is why they take heat. This is why the best players take the heat. Like Pastrnak, he had a power play goal tonight, but there were times tonight where, like, if you're hurt, sit down. Like, sit down if you're hurt. And then McAvoy, like you said, just undisciplined. Like, I don't get what goes through his head. I don't get what goes through his head. And I know maybe frustration.
Oh, I'm sure he's frustrated.
They won 4 in a row.
I know.
Coming in, like, it's not like the wheels are falling off again. Like, you're in the mix. Like, yeah, it's a bad night. Oh well.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is they lose embarrassingly. And then then everybody's like, well, we got to show fight. We got to blah, blah, blah. And then he loses his goddamn mind.
He loses it.
Just undisciplined, just terrible. And like, that's not leadership. That's not leadership.
No.
At all. So if he's going to keep doing that shit, strip the C, strip the A off his jersey.
Right.
Give it to fucking Brandon Carlo. I mean, he sucks too, but he's not doing dumb shit all the time.
Well, there's a leadership problem with the team. That hasn't changed.
No, they have Brad Marchand, who was around for the good leadership. And then they have a bunch of guys who really shouldn't be leaders on the team.
They aren't really they don't have the makeup for leadership. They don't.
No, they need more, Kevin Shattenkirks and Pat Maroons and Nick Folignos. They don't need these guys to be leaders. They aren't leaders. They can't be leaders. They do too many things to hurt the team. In situations where, they shouldn't be doing that. So they have a problem with it. They have a leadership problem. And producer Connor has a career season stats for Jeremy Swayman if we want to take a deep dive into this. And I can't read that because I can't see
let's take a deep dive with my snorkel.
Yeah.
And see if I can see this.
He's gonna have to read them to me, I think. I can't see any of that.
Hey, I can read them to you if you want.
You're gonna have to.
I literally that looks like blurred lines. I am
that looks like a bad eye test that he's gonna fail.
Yeah. I'm failing the hell out of that thing.
I gotcha. We'll break down the October games. Swayman played Montreal, his first game of the season here on 10-10. And it was a 6-4 win. Then against LA, the first playoff team, got a 2-1 win in OT. And then comes an absolute bender of losses. A loss versus Florida, 4-3. OT loss versus Utah, 2-1. A 4-0 blowout versus Nashville. A 5-2 loss versus Dallas. A 4-3 OT win against Toronto. The 8-2 drubbing by Carolina. And then swapping over into November, a 2-0 win against Seattle, 4-0 loss against Toronto, a 3-2 OT loss versus Ottawa. Seattle, a 3-2 win, Dallas, a 7-2 loss, Columbus, a 5-1 loss, Detroit, a 2-1 win, Vancouver, a 2-0 loss, Pittsburgh, a 2-1 loss. And then this month, it wasn't too bad. Got 3 wins in a row. Montreal 6-3, Chicago 4-2, and then recently Philly 4-3 in OT, and then obviously the 8-1 tonight. But the thing that sticks out to me is there's only 1 month where he is a 900 save percentage, and it is last month.
Right.
And so far this month, he's got 3 wins, but his stats completely in the trash. 8.25 million.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, this contract could bite him in the ass. I mean, it could come back to bite him in the ass.
I mean, I wonder if I really wonder if they'll explore trading him in the off season. I really wonder if they'll do that.
I mean, I would.
There seems
like
to
I
be
said,
some real shit
look,
going on there.
Look, for me, I would trade anybody off the team.
Right.
I'd trade anybody off the team. I mean, it's time. I mean, seeing their record against playoff teams, seeing how badly they play against playoff teams, that they can't compete against playoff teams, it's time to blow it up.
Yeah,
it's time to blow it up. I mean, you can't watch this team play against good teams and be like, oh yeah, they got a chance.
Yeah, they got to.
Because they don't. They don't have a chance in hell.
Chance in hell. Yeah.
No. So blow it up. Blow it up. Get a, go to the top of the draft and see if you can get a number one center in here that can play with Pastrnak.
Right.
See if you can get James Higgins out of BC.
Yeah, maybe.
He leads all freshmen in the NCAA in points.
Yeah. If Jack Eichel ever gets to free agency, throw the bag at him.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
you mean you want to talk about Rantanen getting 14 and a half? Give Eichel 16.
Yeah, right.
Bring him here.
Yeah,
you gotta overpay. We're going through this right now with the Red Sox. Like, you've been horseshit for 5 years, and now no one will come to your team. You got to overpay for him. So the Bruins need to do the same thing. If you want to bring in a big name free agent, and you got to overpay.
Yeah,
you got to overpay. If teams want to go to play with good teams,
you do. So
they're not going to come to your team. So you got to pay more.
No, you do.
That's what it takes.
And Pastrnak needs a center like nobody's business. Like this isn't working. This isn't working. Elias Lindholm was the wrong idea. I mean, I get it, but the problem was that he's similar to the other two centers you have. He wasn't better. He didn't make it better.
No,
you overpaid for a guy who's really like a second line center at best. Like, he just offensively he does nothing. He
was more involved tonight, and that line actually in stretches was decent. Brazeau, Marchand, and Lindholm.
Right.
But with Pastrnak and Zacha, like, they want to have chemistry with each other. They just don't.
No, they don't.
And then you got Morgan Geekie out there. You know who was an absolute ghost tonight? Charlie Coyle. I heard his name once.
I
didn't even know he was playing tonight.
Now that you mentioned it, I had forgotten he was on the team.
Yeah.
I don't.
And I wouldn't have known Frederick was playing tonight, except for the penalty and one punched some fucking Swedish dude that no one cares about. Who gives a rat's ass that you can one punch a guy who never fights? Who cares?
Yeah, I know, Freddie. Like, here's the thing. Can we trade at least Trent Frederick? Like, can we just trade somebody? Just trade somebody off the roster just to make me feel better. Like, somebody needs to go. I don't really care who it is at this point.
I don't either.
Somebody just needs to go. Carlo, Frederick.
I don't care. I don't know if it was in one of the post games or if it was on one of the regular podcast episodes. We were talking about Brandon Carlo. I'm like, I don't know if you can give him up. Yeah, you can. Sure, you can. Trade him. See ya. Bye-bye. Trade him for trade. I don't care. A bag of pucks.
And he's got a decent contract, so you
he's got a great contract.
Someone will give you something. Sure. Smitty's like, fuck this. Like, in mid sentence.
Holy moly. He really
he's fired up. He must have kicked the cord or something. He's all, here he comes. He's back in a flurry. Like, he's
you're connected to the internet. I just lost my internet.
Would you kick it out? I think Xfinity was like, dude, this guy needs to settle the fuck down.
Yeah, I think they were. I think the Bruins are monitoring my internet.
Yeah, I think so.
Trying to quiet me, trying to stifle me.
Yeah, Don Sweeney's got your internet.
You can't quiet me. You can't shut me up.
Maybe he hit the swear limit on YouTube, and they,
maybe. He's that guy on Airplane, the movie that has the cord. He's like,
Did I start swearing too early for YouTube?
Yeah, I think he was. Yeah.
We're gonna be unmonetized because of my mouth.
Yeah, that's a warning shot.
I apologize to John and John only.
Yeah,
not YouTube.
That's it. Apologize to John. Well, I'll tell you what, Bruins should apologize to us because now Thursday and Saturday nights we're up at like 12:45 a.m. probably doing this very fucking thing again. Screaming into our microphones because they suck and blow. And they turn from suck to blow tonight. Pastrnak is single-handedly fucking up every offensive possession we have so far in the second period, says T-Boz. And yeah, I mean, look I don't know what the issue is. I think I know what the issue is. Partly injury. Secondly, he doesn't have a center to speak of.
No.
So those are two things right now that are just fucking up his world. Sorry, John. And that's the case right then and there.
And that's the bottom line, because Maddie says so.
Because Maddie said so. I even look like Stone Cold. Dan Maynard, I'm so glad I'm at work and can't watch this game. Just checking the box scores during the second period. And fuck, what the fuck is happening out there? Is anyone even trying to shoot at the net? No, tonight they're outshot 35-24.
Yeah.
They're offensively challenged. They have to win games 2-1, 3-2. They can't beat the Winnipeg Jets, 7-5. They can't certainly beat them, 9-8, which is what they would have had to do tonight. So no.
Yeah, you would have been better off getting bitten by one of the venomous Australian spiders than watching this game.
Right. I mean, a herd of cicadas could have been on the ice, and it wouldn't have helped.
You would have been better off getting kicked in the nuts by a kangaroo than watching this game tonight.
Really bad. And he says also it looks like Marchand is playing okay, though. When I'm going off a box score mid-game, I could be wrong. Marchand's been okay the last few games. I mean, Marchand's been better. Looks better.
He had an assist on the goal tonight, so he has a 4-game point streak. Yeah, he's been pretty good. He's been pretty good.
Marchand is the least of their problems.
He leads the team in goals, for crying out loud.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. Tonight he had 2 shots on net. He had 6 shots. He had 3 shots on net, 2 shots missed, 4 hits. Played 15-25. Was a -2, but everybody was a minus tonight. Had an assist, as Smitty said. Elias Lindholm,
Jordan Osterley, and the fourth line were the only guys that weren't minus this time.
Yeah, Jordan Osterley somehow got away with 21:53 of ice time, 26 shifts, and an even tonight. 1 block shot, 1 hit, 3 giveaways. The defenseman still giving the puck away. 11 total tonight from the defenseman. How about, let's see, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. 21 giveaways for the team tonight. That's not going to get it done.
Not usually.
Not going to get it done at all, really.
No.
At all. T-Boss says, please get Pasta off the ice out of the game if he's injured. After already slacking most of the season, he isn't helping anyone. I mean, I don't know what the Pastrnak thing is. I think I might know, but I don't exactly know what's going on there with him. T. Slizzy, this is why people are saying the Bruins win streak was layups, and it was. I mean, we said this.
Yeah,
they still haven't beaten a good team. In fact, they get murdered by good teams.
Correct.
So we needed to see them, at least compete against Winnipeg tonight. Shootout loss, win, something like that, and they lose 8-1. To me, they're still the same Bruins.
This road trip, whatever it is, 5-6 game trip, 6 games, I guess 5 now after the loss, is a test for them. It's against good teams. And right now they have an F, a big, huge, fat F, like an F minus, sliding.
They have they have one of your Fs freshman year UConn. They have like a severe.
They got like a 20 on this.
Yeah, they didn't show up to class.
No.
Yeah. No.
So they have a long way to go before I'm going to give them any kind of the benefit of the doubt about turning a corner or being a good team even. Because this can't continue unless they want to slide to the bottom of the standing.
Yeah, a couple of guys, Pejman and Cam Berger says that way to reset the goalie market. Swayman, the backup goalie now, good for Sacco leaving him out there. And I tell you, this is the second time this season he's been left out there hanging out to dry. Tonight was another example, like you say, goals 5, 6, 7, and even 8. It was a horrific turnover. I don't know who the fuck that was, but that was like a JV hockey turnover. Flubs it right to someone and then bangs it into the net. And the last 4 goals, I thought Swayman could have had.
Yeah. The fourth one was awful.
Yeah.
Because it was just like the shot was at the middle of the net and somehow it sneaks through him.
Yeah.
And that's a backbreaker because you get it to 3-1. You're at 3-1. You're like, all right, we had a shitty break on the Pastrnak high sticking call, and then the penalty kill doesn't come through. They score there. But then that fourth goal just fucking kills you. Just absolutely rips the life out of you.
And you can't score. Like, how many times have you scored 4 goals a season? Not many.
No.
Like, if you go down 4-1, the game's over. You can't score.
No, a handful of times early in the season they scored, more than 4 goals, and then here and there they have. But consistently, they're 2-3 goals tops.
Yeah, you're not winning that game.
No. So
your goalie fucking kills you.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be. He has to be better than that. I mean, they're paying him to be better than that. And I don't know, maybe the Bulldogs feeling the fucking weight of the contract. I hope he is. I hope he is.
Well, we said this. Like, you're putting a lot of pressure on himself, thinking that, okay, I go through all this contract bullshit.
Yeah.
And now the pressure's on. If you suck, and we said this, if you suck, then be ready. And sucks. He sucks, just like we said. So now, I mean. And he said recently, like, I'm going to be better. Don't worry about it. I'm going to be better. And he started to play a little bit better, but then he does this. I mean, he's just not. I don't have any confidence right now that he's any goalie other than the other average goalies around the league. Like, he's not saving.
And you know what? I don't think the team has confidence in him either.
I don't think so either. And and honestly, I don't think the team is ready to get behind him either.
I think that's part of the problem. I think I don't know if it's the get behind him part, but I think it's the confidence part. Like when he's on the ice and we make a mistake, they're probably thinking, well, that might be in the net now. Where before they're like, oh, Swayman will bail us out. He'll make a save. Now they're not so sure. And I think Winnipeg is the exact opposite. I think they play with a tremendous amount of confidence because Hellebuck is back there and he will bail them out. And he did tonight. Early on in that game, he bailed them out when the Bruins could have got a lead early in the first. And maybe it would have been a different game. But they have a goalie who earns it.
Yeah.
Who's been there, who's done it.
Yeah.
It's going to be that guy starting the 4 Nations, not Jeremy Swayman. That's for damn sure.
No. Right now, he's just another goaltender. Kyle Galusha, Carlo and Swayman's most brutal game so far. I agree. I mean, Carlo hasn't been good for a while, and Swayman was dog shit tonight. New Hampshire Bruin. This is what happens when you play a good team and you're not a good team. Don Sweeney, or maybe we should fire Joe Sacco now. Like, I would imagine that Sacco, I mean, they're going to have to make a really good run for him to get the job, I would assume. I mean, I think that this is him. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I think this is their kind of, attempt to get to help his resume so he can get a job somewhere else. I don't think he's going to be the coach here. But I think they're throwing him a bone to try to get him another head coaching job.
I mean, that makes sense.
I think that's what they're trying to do. And, they had really no other alternative. Not going to bring in another guy right now. So it had to be either Leach or him or Kelly. And they go with Sacco, who's been there for 400 years.
And he's doing a bang-up job with his opportunity.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they beat bad teams.
Yeah.
And they get destroyed by good teams. This is no different than when Montgomery was there. I mean, they were beating, bad teams here, most of the time. And then they play a good team and they get just shit stomped. It's not like they're losing close games and they just don't have quite enough goal scoring. They're getting killed by good teams. Killed.
Yeah.
So that's not great. That's not good at all.
When I know it's going to happen, and I said it in the Carolina game, I said it earlier in this game tonight when I tweeted out. I said, this game could get out of hand. And there you go. It did.
It did. Yeah. It did. Nick Principe says he threw up 8.25 times watching that game. Correct. Correct.
That wins Connor's favorite comment.
Yeah,
of the
that's
night.
a comment of the night. We may have to do comment of the night.
Yes.
Going forward. Yeah, I don't know what we're gonna do. We're gonna, I don't know, send you nudes of Smitty or something. But whoever wins, is gonna get a prize.
No one wants.
Or are you a winner or a loser in that one? Kyle Galusha could have gotten 1 or 2 good top 6 forwards for that money and just lost 5 to 8. Would have been more entertaining. You know, I said that before, Kyle, before the season, in the off season. I said, get a really good goal scorer, get a good forward. Don't chase the center position. And Smitty was like, don't sign Elias Lindholm because he only produces when he plays with outstanding. That 1 year he played with outstanding players.
Yeah.
For the most part, he's a 45-point guy. And lo and behold, here we are. I mean, if we can see that, and we're two schleps that don't have a life and do post games after every fucking post game, that's what we do for our life. And we saw it coming. We saw it coming.
Yeah.
So
maybe I should be the general manager of the Bruins. That'd be a cool job to have.
Wouldn't that be? You could do it seated right where you are right now, I think.
Yeah, I could.
Actually, a better job just right here. Matthew Curtis, Bruins couldn't negligibly better this year by moving Geeky and Frederick, but I don't think Sweens would know how to do it if you staple it to his forehead. You know, I'm not sure what you get for Geeky. Probably have to waive him. Frederick, you can get probably something for him, and I would do it. I would have done it 2 weeks ago. Like, what are we waiting for? Like, I would do it. Get rid of the guy. When he scored 2 goals the other day, we even said, like, trade him that day. Trade him that night. Like, take him to the airport that night.
Yeah.
Should have done it then. Drink up, ladies and gents. This is Bruins hockey now. I should have some drinks for this one.
Yeah.
Who would even take Geeky? I agree with you, Kyle. I don't think you're gonna get 2 nips and a scratch off of that kid. I think that's probably true. That's probably true. And Johnny Beecher, any thoughts on Beach? I haven't heard his name much either. I mean, what is he doing? Is he skating around or?
He's skating around.
Yeah, skating around. He's doing the. Who was the one that skated around? Like, was it? It wasn't Loco. It was one of those. Maybe it was Loco. They have these guys that just kind of skate around and don't do much. It's a skill. It's a skill, Charlie Coyle. It's a skill. It really is a skill.
Team full of guys who love to just skate around behind the net, circle the net with it, fire it down low. You know what? I hate to pick on the guy because he's actually been probably one of the steadier defensemen. But has Andrew Peak hit the net with a shot this season?
I'm not sure.
Every time he takes a shot, it is wide or off the high glass. It just infuriates me.
Yeah,
he try to play offense.
He's a third pair. But that was the book when he came over. Like he was a defensive defenseman.
I know. I hate to pick on the guy, but it just like every time, just like once in a while hit the net for me. Please.
Yeah. The Bruins get a lot of shots blocked.
How about Brandon Carlo? He's like playing offense, and he's like, I don't want to play offense anymore. Just backs out of the zone. The puck's coming up the boards to where he is. He's like, I don't want it. He's going to back out of the zone like 5 seconds too early.
I don't want it. And you know what? You don't want me to have it, is what he's saying. You don't want me to have it.
He's probably right.
And you know what? You are right, Brandon. Thanks for thinking of us.
How about that? How about that high hockey IQ play by Brandon Carlo at the end of the first period?
Oh, boy.
20 seconds left where he just throws it out in front for no fucking reason other than to give the Winnipeg Jets a high danger chance. I mean, that's all that was. I mean, what in the fuck? Sorry, John. My God.
Helping out the Jets. Wow, Brandon. Yeah, Brandon wasn't solid tonight. Matthew Curtis has Buffalo Trace tonight. Attaboy. Odysseys, what a fucking tool. At least he got the business side of things. He must be talking about Freddie. I don't know.
No, he's talking about Sway.
Oh,
business
Sway.
school
The
Sway.
business side. Oh, yeah. He went to UMaine Business School
Yeah.
and all that shit. Yeah. Yeah. All of a sudden, UMaine is Harvard. I don't understand what that comment is, but are we surprised at this point? Genuine question. Can we reach this point in the season and be surprised by this bullshit? Says Dan Maynard. We're not surprised.
No.
Because we said that they haven't beaten a good team, haven't really competed against them.
Yeah.
And here we are again. I mean, to me, yeah, they're beating the bad teams. And you know what? Here's the thing. There's enough bad teams to beat. And there's enough bad teams to beat for them to make the playoffs, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, probably
teams
true.
behind them aren't as good as they are. So they are going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean,
anyway,
probably
they are. So
probably true.
And then go in the playoffs and get their shit stomped in. It'll be very interesting to see how Joe Sacco responds to a blowout compared to Snooze Monty. It will be interesting to see what Sacco does. I mean, at the end, Monty was just done.
Well, it was interesting to see because they had those couple of fights there, and after the second fight, the benches were kind of chirping back and forth a little bit there. So Sacco's from Medford, so he's gonna fight. He's gonna fight.
Yeah.
And, I don't know.
Don't mess with a Medford Mustang.
I don't know if the team will show that same fight.
Yeah.
Maybe. I'd like to see how they respond after this one. Hopefully they show up. But
yeah. Who went to Med? Oh, Sean Bates went to Medford High, didn't he?
Yeah, Sean Bates did.
Sean Bates did. Yep. Nick Principe, Toronto just won 2-1 in overtime and got outshot 40-16. That's an outcome that the Bruins should have with 8.25 million tendy and being this offensively challenged. That's a good point, Nick. They could use some saves, as Bruce Cassidy would say.
The better goaltending signing right now, Anthony Stolarz in Toronto.
Excellent for them.
And Jeremy Swayman. And Stolarz has been fantastic. I think
great.
if you had to put a top three for the Vezina together right now, I think our buddy Anthony up in Toronto is on that list. And the Bulldog certainly is not on the list.
No, the Bulldog, no. Colorado just got Mackenzie Blackwood, so they're a team that won't need a goaltender now, probably.
Well,
so that's another team off the list. But I'll tell you, I don't know what a goaltender's, what he's going to get you though. Like, I don't think he's going to get you. Look what Allmark got you.
Well, I mean, you're selling low right now too. So
you are.
I mean, now's not the time to trade Bulldog. It's in the off season when everybody forgot about him being a hot mess for the large majority of the beginning of the season, and hopefully the second half of the year he turns it around and they find their way into the playoffs, and then he's playoff Bulldog again. Hopefully, but now's not the time to trade him. You're selling low, and you didn't get much of a return for Allmark. Swayman being younger, maybe you get a little more. But he's locked up too. So, there's that, team control for a while.
Yeah.
But, goalies just don't get what you think you'll get for.
No, they don't. They don't. The centers and goal scorers.
Yeah.
Top
centers, goal scorers, and top pair D.
And then goalie. It's just the way it is. Aussie Bruins, glad he's back in Australia and he left Canada. Tough watch tonight, Aussie, for sure. Fuck combustion, I believe that's what that is. Is Pasta even playing that well? Seems like he turns it over very often, but I'm no expert. Well, you know what? You are an expert tonight because that's exactly what he's been doing. Is turning it over a ton. He had a power play goal tonight, but Pasta just hasn't been the same Pasta. And some of it's injury, probably. Some of it's not having a center. I don't know. I really don't know what it is. And it's getting a little scary now. I don't know. You paid him $11.5 million for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, he did it last year. He did it last year without a center. So that's not.
He did.
Not really the only.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's not really the only problem. There's other stuff there.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's it starts to get scary after a while.
And maybe his injury is worse. I mean, maybe it never healed up well, and maybe he's not near 100%. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it's a possibility.
Yeah, but if he is, then maybe you just got to shelve him for a while. It's just, I don't know if he's hurting you more than he's helping you.
Yeah.
Ruckus Delamius Slayer, not to be confused with Delabius Slayer. Hey, Bruins Benders, Leaf fan here again. Once again, love your blue collar approach. Again, big fan of the show. Thank you, Ruckus. I said this before. Unfortunately, your challenge is just not enough high end talent. I totally agree. And really, what it comes down to is that they just aren't super talented. I mean, they have some good players, but they don't have enough high end players like the rest of the league, and the rest of the other teams in their division, like Toronto and Florida and Tampa Bay. Have just more high end talent than they do.
Yeah, I mean, we've said it, a bunch of times, and I've said it a bunch of times. To win the Stanley Cup in this league, you have to have star players. That's the way it goes. You have to have 3 or 4 guys who are stars, and the Bruins do not have that. So they're not going to win.
Yeah,
plain and simple. They don't have enough high end talent. They're trying to piece it together. That's always been their approach, to piece it together with hardworking guys, guys who are going to grind and muck and do all that bullshit. But when it comes down to it, you need skill guys who can put the puck in the net when it matters. And they don't have enough of those guys. They don't. And they should have addressed that in this offseason, and they didn't.
Nope.
And it's coming back to bite them in the ass, like we both said it would.
Right. I mean, that's the bottom line. Cab, thanks for chiming in, Cab. Do you guys think Elias Lindholm can turn things around, or is what we're seeing is what we're going to get for the next 7 years? And I'm going to tell you right now, Smitty told us in the summer that this is what we were going to get.
Yep.
He did.
This is what you're going to get. Unless you can somehow get to the top of the draft and find a Johnny Gaudreau clone and trade for Brady Tkachuk, and Elias Lindholm somehow is still on the team when you trade for Brady Tkachuk, then maybe you got a shot.
Yeah. Whoa, time out, Smitty. Calm it down. No soft tampering. No soft tampering.
Because he was, I'm going to soft tamper the fuck out of this thing.
Yeah, it's not going to be soft.
It's gonna be
hard tampering.
It's gonna be semi-hard. It's gonna be when he has really good players, he can be okay. But he needs the other people to drive the line. He doesn't drive the line. He needs the other guys, and he needs not 1, but 2 other guys to drive the line.
Yep.
So if he's along for the ride, he's perfect.
Fine. Yeah. Fine. But he's closer to 45 points than 85 points. Let's put it that way, Cab.
Yeah.
That's what he is. So,
and you pay him more than you're paying Charlie Coyle and Pavel Zacha, who both had more points than him last year.
At 60s. Yeah. So there you go. I don't know. It's a long 7 years. But like Smitty says, if you drop him down to second line center, then I think you're fine. I think you're fine. Preferably third line center is preferably where I'd like them, but that's two centers down. Like you need 2 centers above. Now, if Pastrnak can slide into 2, and you can get a high end at 1, now you're cooking with gas. Now I think you're fine.
That's my goal. That's what I want from this team. Yeah. I want them to be bad. I want them to get to the top of the draft. I want them to get one of those elite, talented centers in the top of the draft. I want Pastrnak to slide into the number 2 hole, and I want Elias Lindholm to drop down to 3. And by that time, Charlie Coyle is probably gone. So you don't have to worry about, another number 3 center. And I believe producer Connor is going to chime in here.
I do. I got an update from the Gustafsson and Trent Frederick fight. David Gustafsson left the game after the fight to get stitches on what Jets head coach Scott Arniel called a nasty cut. He also said he's getting stitched up, There's also a possible concussion. Don't know about that yet.
Wow.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, look, Freddie can throw him.
Sure.
I mean, no one ever said he couldn't fight. He
Right.
can. I don't know why he doesn't do it more. I don't know why he picked a random, I don't even know if the guy's Swedish. I said he was, but I'm assuming he is. I don't know why he picked a random Swedish guy to fight in the middle of,
I don't know.
They got plenty of big Canadian boys on that team. Fight one of them.
Yeah.
But
David Gustafsson.
he
Actually, I have
Sweden.
a follow-up
He is
here.
okay, follow up.
Lowry, the captain for the Jets
Yeah.
here, had a pretty lengthy quote on the Frederick Gustafsson fight. Said, I think it's 50-50. You can't just place all the onus on Trent. That's unfair. It's a tough spot. You get challenged to fight and you don't want to say no. Looking back, it could have just been handled differently. It's the game of hockey. It's unfortunate. That's what really where we got upset. You don't want to see a teammate get hurt like that. You don't want to see a teammate down on the ice with a head injury. So I think that's where the emotion comes into it. Some of the responsibility is on both of the guys, and I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I don't think Freddie took advantage of him or anything. But he was probably pissed. They had just scored and he wanted to, send a message saying we're not going to lie down and take it. Which, whatever.
To be fair, Gustafsson has never fought ever.
Yeah. Is this right? He has 6 penalty minutes in his career in 115 games. Wow. Well, yeah, they picked the wrong guy then. He's from Tingsryd, Sweden. Anybody from Tingsryd, Sweden on here? Probably. We got people from all over fucking the world.
Are David Gustafsson watching this?
Probably his next of kin are watching.
Yeah. Just, a bad spot, obviously a bad spot. And look, we hope he's fine. We joke around, but I always say this about, I always complain about other players on other teams and I don't want anybody getting hurt and severely injured and stuff like that. I'll bitch about guys and say they're rats and all this stuff, but I really don't want anybody losing, getting concussions and that kind of stuff. I don't like to see that, but
no, that was a bad spot for Gustafsson. Yeah, hopefully he's all right. Adrian, this calls for tequila and limes. You said it, Adrian.
Yeah,
you said it, girl. Ruckus, would you guys do Nick Robertson for Trent Frederick?
Yep.
I'd do that if that's on the table. Good. Just shout out your Leafs people. I'd do that.
I mean, and I can't remember the last time I watched Robertson play. How about that?
Right. But I'm just guessing that it's going to be better than, you know what? Fuck better. It's different. It's somebody else. It's somebody else I can bitch about. Honestly, at this point, just make a move.
Robertson is talented but underperforming.
His 2 goals in 23 games. He has 2 goals and 0 assists. He's a +1. Plays about 12 minutes of ice. He played. Let's see. He had last game he played was on the 6th. He's a -1. Played 12 shifts. He's pretty much a 4th liner for them right now. He was a 2nd round pick, 53rd overall, 19 of Toronto. He's 5'9", 178 pounds, left wing, left shot. Yeah, sure. I at this point, you're not going to sign Freddie.
He's a little more of a speed skill guy, and they could use some speed skill guys. So I would be fine with it. I would. Yeah. They could
give me Robertson and something else.
Yeah, whatever. You could plug in any number of guys to take Trent Frederick's spot there.
You can.
You have Max Jones. You have Riley Tufte. You have fucking Mark McLaughlin still's, doing nothing out there, skating around. There's plenty of guys that can do what Trent Frederick did, other than one punch a Swede.
Yeah,
I can't. Probably on a lot of guys who can do that on the Bruins right now.
Yeah,
a handful, but
you can do what Frederick does, which is nothing. is basically what you're saying. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, there's a lot of Frederick people out there who say, how can you ever trade him? Or, boy, he has great value. I don't see it. I don't know what it is, but I don't see it. And I certainly don't see it this season. But he was my whipping boy 3 years ago, when I crushed the guy every game. So, and this is kind of, he's probably not this, but he's certainly not 18 goal scorer. He's somewhere in the middle, 10 goals, couple fights, just
I mean, he's
many bad penalties.
Look, he's tough to play against, and he could be effective if he's on a line with other guys who are good. But the Bruins don't have other guys that are good anymore.
I mean, he was fine with Coyle and somebody else last
Taylor
year.
Hall is who he was fine with.
He was fine with Taylor Hall, and but he's a high-end talent. He's an elite talent.
Exactly.
He's a number one pick.
Producer Connor's going to chime in again.
Brad Marchand this time with another fire quote. Be interested to see what you guys have to say. He said, "This was coming. Our practices have been sloppy. Our execution has been off there, and it bleeds into games. The way you practice is how you play."
Yeah, here's the thing. This is another example of this team just not being into it, whether it's mentally, emotionally, physically, whatever. It's just the team is just a disjointed bunch. I don't know. And I don't want to say it's a bad roster, because I think the roster is it's not terrible, but for some reason it just doesn't click. It just doesn't put it together. And I think there's an identity problem. I think the team plays a way that says that they think that they're different than they are, when they really just have to play basic hockey, win close, low-scoring games over and over again. If they don't get the goaltending, they can't win. If they turn the puck over all the time, they can't win, because they can't score consistently enough. So they have to play perfect hockey.
This team has a much higher opinion of themselves.
It does.
Than they should.
Yeah,
they think they're much better than they are. They think they can walk in and win games. They think they show up and win games. That's what they thought all through the month of October. They thought they were going to show up and win. Swayman was going to come off the street and he would be fine and everybody would be great and they would just show up and win.
The coach pretty much said it. McAvoy pretty much said it. Yeah. That they didn't win cups in October, which means to me that they don't value the games in October as much as they do the rest of the year.
Yeah, they thought they could just show up and win. Yeah. And cruise and be fine. They don't have the roster for that. And I don't know why they think they do.
Yeah.
I don't know why I don't know why they think that. Why is McAvoy of all people talking like that? He defers to everybody else on the goddamn team. Yeah. Why are you talking like you're Cale Makar? You have the confidence of a Cale Makar. You fumble the puck more than anybody I've ever seen on the defensive blue line. Yeah. What are you talking about, bro?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
No.
I mean, for crying out loud. Maybe get your own game in order first, and then you can worry about what the rest of the teams are doing and what your team is doing in October and November. Mm-hmm. I mean, get it together, bro. Get it together.
Well, maybe this is why Cassidy and Montgomery had such a hard time with this team. They just there were times they don't start on time. They're inconsistent at times. They don't show up at times, but they were getting away with it because the goaltenders would be on their ear.
Yeah.
And they would somehow pull games out of their ass. And it changed them from being what they are now to being a much better team up high in the standings, is because they were getting away with it, and largely because the goaltending was really, bailing them out. The goaltending is not bailing them out anymore.
No.
Those days are gone. So they've got to play a much more disciplined style. They don't play disciplined much at all. And that's a problem.
I agree with Marchand, though. I think their game has been slipping the last few games. You could see it. Their attention to details, in the first handful of games when Sacco took over were much better than they have been the last, few games. Mm-hmm. But I think that's them starting to feel themselves again. It's almost like you have to slap them every 2 or 3 games and be like, you're not that good. Defense first. They think all of a sudden when they score a few goals, they start feeling good. And they're like, oh, everybody can just play offense and rush up and leave the zone early and do all. And no, you can't. Take care of your own zone. Take care of your own end. Don't give up odd man rushes. Pay attention on the penalty kill. Like over and over, like don't give it away. Value the puck. Like it's almost like you have to be a broken record. No wonder the coaches' voices get stale after a couple of years. Imagine how many times they have to say that to this group of dunces, this group of people who can't seem to get it through their heads that they're not as good as they are. Over and over and over again, you have to say, take care of the puck, manage the puck, value the puck, don't turn it over. Over and over and over. How many times? He probably says it 100 times a day. And they drown him out after a year and a half because he's got to say it every single day, all the time, because they don't fucking get it.
No, they don't get it. They don't get it. And they've lost games like this more than once, and they still don't get it after this. I don't know. Hey, here's another quote from Marchand about Swayman. And when asked if he feels for Swayman being left in, not really. Everyone had a bad night. He was part of it. He's not singled out. I don't think anyone can look at themselves in the mirror and say that they had a good game. He's part of the group. He's part of that bad loss. So,
I love it.
Love that. Love it. Love it. And I'll tell you what, I don't know this for a fact because I don't know any of them. I just think that Marchand, I wonder what he
doesn't
really
like
feels about. I don't think he does. No. I think that whole contract thing and going to the public, like I think Marchand gets that you try to get the money, you try to set the market. I think he gets that part. For the most part, players get that because they want that. I mean, they need that.
Sure, they do.
But the whole going to the media thing pissed him off.
Oh yeah,
and it did. And I think that now. I just don't believe. I think he's one of the guys that just doesn't really love.
Producer kind of taking a little too far here. I don't think he said "fuck that guy."
I don't think he said "fuck that guy." We do, but I don't think he does. But I think he's miffed at him, and I think that now he's like, Jesus. After all that, this is what we're dealing with, and you're playing like this. Yeah, I think he's probably frustrated, Marchand. He's taking discounts. He's played hurt. He's playing on repaired hips and elbows and all that stuff. Not at 100%.
Yeah.
And fighting through, plays virtually every game. And it's just, I just think he's a little bit frustrated, a little bit irritated.
That was the hockey player's version of "fuck that guy."
Yeah.
It's
it's definitely something there with that.
Any other time, any skater would have said, absolutely feel bad for the goaltender. We should have played better in front of him.
Oh, yeah.
The politician say that. Yeah, he didn't say like that. You're right. Typically, they'll say, we need to play better in front of him. He did not say that.
No.
He did not. He said,
basically, he watched what I watched. Like, goal 4, you need to save. Goal 5, you need to save. Goal 7, you need to save. Like, need saves there.
And that they were getting.
It wouldn't have been nearly as embarrassing if Swayman made some saves there. Then it's 4-1, 5-1. That's a normal, it's a bad loss, but it's a normal bad loss. It's like, we had a bad night. It's a normal bad night. 8-1 is fucking embarrassing, is what that is.
It's an embarrassment. Yeah.
Yeah. So, if it's 5-1 or 4-1, you're like, shake it off. We'll get him tomorrow. Everybody had a bad night, but that's holy shit, dude. That's what that is.
Yeah. Odyssey says Swayman and Frederick for Zegras and Gibson from the Ducks. I wouldn't do that. I just think that if Zegras was here, he'd be part of the problem.
He would be, but he's talented.
He's talented.
Part of the problem.
He's talented, but you'd be just as frustrated with Zegras.
Oh, sure, I would be. I would probably I wouldn't be able to stand it, but he needs a change of scenery big time.
He does.
He looks joyless out in Anaheim.
He does.
He looks like a broken man out there.
He does.
So change the scenery. Let's do it. I'll drive out there. I'll drive to friggin' Anaheim to bring Trent Frederick out there for Zegras. Yep.
Yeah. Kay says this game was rough. The only spark was the 3 scraps. The rest was painful. Sway was brutal. I'm glad he was left in. I mean, I'm kind of glad he is too. It's almost like hey, if you want to be the guy and you're going to make all that money, you're going to finish the game.
Yeah.
And I think there's some of that to that. New Hampshire Bruin, you need a Harvard diploma to make educated decisions on signing players, guys. And that is probably true. So Smitty does not have that.
No,
but maybe we need a different. Maybe we need something different. You know, McAvoy did go to BU, not Harvard. He might be smart, but not wicked smart. That's
what
true.
about a graphic design degree from UMass Dartmouth? Does that count?
That's that. You know what?
For
You could figure out that Zach Senyshyn can't play fucking hockey with a graphic design from anywhere. From the fucking University of Phoenix.
You know what else I can do? I can read. And if they could have read Central Scouting, they would have Kyle Connor right now instead of him dominating you. Yeah. That's literally all you needed to be able to do. You would have had Kyle Connor and Matt Barzal. Instead, you picked Zach Senyshyn, and
if you went the next three guys, does anybody know that? If you went the next three guys, wasn't it Barzal, Connor, Shabbat, or something like that?
I believe it was.
Just went the next three guys in Central Scouting.
Yeah.
Although Zaborov might have been there because he was rated fairly high.
Well, they picked Zaborov first, didn't they?
Yeah. Right.
Zaborov was rated high. Zaborov was rated
high. He was kind of picked where he was rated.
Yeah. So I mean, he was right in that ballpark. So like that one, it's fine. And DeBrusk, look, I mean, fine. Yeah, that was that. I mean, it was fine. It was fine.
It's fine.
It was fine.
Yeah.
But then, I have the draft right in front of me.
Okay.
And you are correct. 13, it was Zaborov. 14, DeBrusk. 15, Senyshyn. 16, Barzal. 17, Kyle Connor. 18, Shabbat.
Yep.
There you go.
And then it gets better. 23, Brock Besser. 24, Travis Konechny. And then 35, Sebastian Aho.
Yeah, Aho. Yeah.
So, if you could read Central Scouting, you would have had Matt Barzal with the next pick instead of a guy who played 6 games in the NHL.
Yeah,
8 games.
I think he played 14, and he had a goal and 2 assists or something. I don't know.
Yeah, and
I don't know.
Now he's playing in Switzerland or Thailand or somewhere.
Tip Rud, Sweden, or whatever the hell got systems from. I don't know where he's playing, and I don't care.
Yeah,
because that was torturous. That was painful with Zach Senyshyn. That was a rough one. So the next game, who are they playing next? Seattle. They're at Seattle, right?
Yeah,
I think the Bruins are at Seattle on Thursday night. I mean, it doesn't get easier on this trip, and we said that this trip was, this trip was going to be it. Like you could lose 5 straight here, and be right back to where you were. At Seattle, I think they're at Calgary,
at Seattle, at Vancouver, at Calgary, at Edmonton.
Yeah, well, Jesus, that could be 4 L's in a row right
Certainly.
there. So you could be 5-game losing streak at the end of that thing, and back to where you were.
For the commenter Zach Heist right here, who says or Shabbat or Kirill the Thrill. Zach, if you want to hurt your feelings a little bit more, go look up what pick was used for Kirill Kaprizov and come back to us in the comment section next game.
Yeah. Kirill Kaprizov was, that was not a good thing.
No,
at all. That was a 5th rounder.
Another Don Sweeney genius move right there.
Yeah, that was great. Shaz Diet says Swayman held out to be paid to be the number 1, and he's played like shit so far. I'd be pissed if I was his teammate. And I think that his teammates, I think Spitty hit it, just don't have a ton of confidence in him right now. And I'll tell you, I'd play Korpisalo the next couple of games. I really would. I'd sit him.
I've been trying to say that for a couple of weeks now. It's not Swayman's net anymore.
Yeah.
He hasn't earned it. He hasn't played well enough. I don't know why they keep trying to force feed the damn net to him. He hasn't earned it.
Well, I know why, because he fought them for $8.25 million. So it's like, fuck you. We're gonna pay you this money. You're gonna play. Well, the problem is he stinks, and they're losing games 8-1.
Yeah.
Because they're keeping him in there, and they, at the very least, do a natural tandem, like a natural every other,
Right,
or something. But don't keep playing him, 3 or 4 games in a row when he stinks. His save percentage is it's not even in the 900s, right? It's 8 something. It's bad. I mean, so I don't look. I don't know. I know why, because he makes too much money, and they're like, okay, we're gonna play him because
there's
he
an
fought us.
893.
893. That stinks. That's not $8.25 million.
I don't know if that's counting tonight though. He's a 3.02 goals against and a 893. I don't know if that includes tonight.
That's not good at all. If that doesn't include tonight, then that's even worse.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty bad. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. They don't play well against good teams at all. Yeah, especially high scoring teams. I mean, the Jets are a team that scores, 4th in the league in goals per game. Like, they're a high powered offense.
Yeah.
This was sort of, I laughed at the 5.5 over under today. I'm like, the Jets are going to score 5 by themselves.
Did you say 893, Ty?
Yeah, that didn't include tonight.
Correct. With tonight, he is an 885 save percentage, and his goals against is a 327.
327.
That shit jumped.
327. That's like Reed Dick when he played for the fucking Swift Current Broncos. Like, that is fucking bad.
That was
like
Wayne Locker in year 2.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that was. Yeah,
not year 1,
bad.
year 2.
That's Blaine Locker when he fell off the face.
This is the 4th time this season that he has let in 5 or more goals. Yeah. And he did that against Carolina, Dallas, Columbus, and now Winnipeg.
He's only played 20 games. Fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So a quarter of the games he gives it 5 or more.
Fuck.
Yeah. I mean, that's I think you have to believe that Korpisalo is going to get the net on Thursday night. I'm going to get all the bourbon I can stomach. We're going to be on air at like 12:45 a.m. after a loss to Seattle. I mean, and then again Saturday night, same time. Again, after a loss to Calgary.
Saturday night, we're going
streaking.
Benders. We're going Benders late night. We're going,
hookers.
And we're going boozing with the Benders on Saturday night.
Boozing with the Benders.
Because if we gotta fucking sit through this on, again.
I don't know. Let us know who will actually be watching this thing Saturday night or even Thursday night. To be honest with you, like Saturday night, bring your sip. Let's just have
bring your sips. Bring your sip. So over the Thirsty Thursday and then Saturday night we'll get
if
after
you don't drink, bring cranberry juice or something.
Benders after dark. Bring regular eggnog or something. Yeah. We'll get after
it some way. Yeah, I don't know.
Legless. Let's make some bad decisions on Thursday and Saturday night.
Wow, it's going to be a rough one. The Bruins are 15-12-3 after an 8-1 loss to the Jets. They are 4-9 against playoff teams and have been outscored 58-30. They've scored less than 3 goals per game against playoff teams. Not good at all.
Doesn't inspire a lot of confidence.
No, it doesn't. And Seattle is a team that, has some decent young talent. And, at this point, it doesn't matter. I mean, the Bruins, have to play really good hockey to beat anybody, as evidenced by, Philadelphia the other day when they almost lost that game.
Look, Seattle's +1 and you're -19. So,
yeah.
I mean, Seattle's 14-14 and in 6th place in the Pacific Division.
Yeah, and currently tied 1-1 with the Florida Panthers.
Yeah,
right now. So, that could be a game right there where you lose that one too. I mean, Shaz Diet, I'm with you. If I'm the Bruins, I'd fucking trade that shit. Sorry, John, before his no movement clause kicks in, which is in year 3, I believe. I really tell you, if this doesn't get better and he doesn't really play great this year after all that's happened, I wonder if they take a shot in the offseason and see what they can possibly get from it. I wonder if they just come together and like, this isn't working. We fucked this up. I wonder if they do. And I wonder if teams call.
I would consider it.
I would consider it. I would, like somebody said, I would consider everybody on the team. Like I would trade everyone but Johnny Busick right now.
They need a shakeup. They need a shakeup. Yeah. And I would consider a Florida Panther, Calgary Flames type hockey trade.
Yes, hockey trade.
And look, they may end up on the Calgary Flames end of that. They may, because of the guy who's pulling the trigger on your side. They may end up on the wrong end of that trade, but that'll send them to the bottom of the fucking league, and those asshats will get fired, and we can bring in some people who actually might be able to build a team and build a roster, and then you'll get some high draft picks finally, and maybe you can start building the thing the right way.
Yeah, another good point by Shaz Diet is that the Bruins have played the most games in the Atlantic. They have 30 games played. Panthers, Maple Leafs, Red Wings, all with 28, although the Panthers are playing tonight, so they'll be at 29. Lightning at 26.
I was going to just mention that. The Bruins are in third right now, but they're only 3 points ahead of Tampa, and Tampa has 4 games in hand.
4 games, yeah.
The Bruins are minus 19, and Tampa is plus 21. So which team is really better?
Yeah, which team is better, right. It's really about win percentage, and right now the Bruins are sort of falsely in third. And not, they need to come back and respond. I don't know what's going to happen Thursday night, but they play Seattle in Seattle, and they need to come back and respond. I'm sure Korpisalo will be in net. There may be some lines moved around again. Here we go again with the lines.
I think you have to.
So here's the other thing about Patra has goals in 4 straight. I think it is 3 or 4 straight.
Yep.
And when do you bring him up? See, I don't think you bring him up.
Never.
I was gonna say I don't know if you do either. I think they got to live and die with the group that's on this road trip. Unless
I really think Patra needs the time down there.
Yeah, I think he needs to, he does. He needs the time to kind of develop and figure some things out.
Because I feel that he has bailed them out a couple of times by just playing in the NHL because they didn't have any other option. He's almost been forced to do that. And now is the time to just give him his just due and give him his development that he needed from the get-go, which he couldn't do because of the rules in the first year. But he should have probably done this year in the beginning of the year, is have that time of providence, which everybody else has had, essentially. Especially the forward group. Like every Pastrnak, all of them have had time, significant time, really, in providence. And Patra needs that. And I don't think you rush him up here again because you're grasping at straws. I don't think you do that. I think you're doing a disservice if you don't continue to let him just play down there.
Yeah, I think he needs to. I think he does. I think he needs, at least half a season down there to just, get used to it, develop some confidence. Maybe he and Lysell can form some chemistry. Merkulov, I don't know. I mean, look, they need to see what they have in those guys at some point. So to me, let them play down there for half a season, then bring them up and see what you have, and put them in the lineup and let them make mistakes and let them play. And your Trent Fredericks and your Cole Koepkes of the world, nice story, but he's tapered off.
I feel like Merkulov
is John Beecher, he doesn't give you anything.
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't give you anything. He's a offensive liability, just a liability offensively. Yeah. So bring those guys up and just let them play and let them make mistakes. And if you sink, you sink.
I feel like Merkulov is not. I feel like they either trade him now, or I don't think Merkulov's. I think they're just down on him. I think he would have been up if I don't see what, at 24 years old now and after a 30-goal season in Providence, like, what more does he need to do down there? I feel like he just doesn't have it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. He doesn't have anything to prove down there, so they need to let him prove it at this level. But they're playing him. I don't think they've given him an opportunity really at this level. And maybe he doesn't have it. He looked to me at times like he can't make plays because he's not fast enough, or I don't know if he doesn't think the game fast enough, or he's not like foot speed wide fast enough to play at the NHL level. Like he just gets caught by guys because he can't make plays at the NHL level. He's just not.
Right. Yeah,
just doesn't have it.
That
might be the case. He might be a good 4A player. There's tons of those guys,
Right. Go to the KHL.
Kid,
right.
Great.
Yeah.
All-star, in the AHL, but can't do anything at the NHL level. It's just, there's guys like that. Yeah. And he may be one of them.
He might be.
And probably is. Look, I mean, they took him in whatever round.
He wasn't drafted, and he
yeah. So
probably
it's
is.
not. Yeah, I mean, it's not like you find a lot of undrafted guys who all of a sudden are great. It's not usually the way that works.
No, and they had to do it because they had no draft picks. They had the prospect pool sucked. So they took a flyer on Merkulov.
Mm-hmm.
It almost worked.
Almost,
but it didn't. New Hampshire Bruins says he's riding with the Bender train all season long, and we appreciate you, buddy.
Yes, we do. We appreciate all you guys who have stuck with us through this whole thing, and hopefully you'll be with us to the bitter.
And it will be bitter.
It will be bitter.
It'll be bitter.
It will be bitter, and I'll probably be angry. There'll probably be some yelling.
Yeah.
There'll probably be some swearing. There'll definitely be some drinking. There will be some swearing.
Yeah.
Even Maddie tonight, letting them fucking fly tonight.
Yeah. I just, you know what?
At some point, you just get fed up, and you gotta
fuck this. I mean, honestly,
you know what? Here's a rule that I live by, and I don't know if you subscribe to this or not.
Okay.
Getting a little philosophical here at 12:06 a.m.
Okay.
But I don't trust people that don't swear. I don't
either. I'll you know what? That's a valid point. That's an excellent point.
If you're an OG's person all the time, I don't trust you.
Yeah. Something's up. You're hiding something. Yeah, you're hiding something.
I don't trust look, you don't have to swear all the time like me. I take it over I'm a little over the top. I'll admit that. With the swearing, but if you're somebody who can't say shit once in a while, I have a problem with you.
I mean, you don't get mad enough to just say like "fuck," like once in a while.
Saying. I can't trust you if you can't just get to the point where even like in traffic, you can't tell somebody to fuck off or flip someone the bird.
You're
something.
Not going to get mad. Yeah, of course you are.
Yeah,
I mean, or there's something wrong with it. There's two people I don't trust: people who don't swear, and a guy who has a 27-inch waist. I mean, you can't trust a guy with a 27-inch waist. He's up to no good. Something's up. It's just, what? Something's up. And typically that guy may even be the same guy. Some born again pastor like that has a 27-inch waist and doesn't swear. But that guy's up to no good. That guy's
100% of the time.
There's no question about it.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. But we trust all of you fine folks, and thanks so much for chiming in. Bruins lose tonight 4,000-1, and we'll be back at it on Thursday night.
Can't wait.
Can't wait. Until then, as always, maybe go Bruins.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.